And here we are, and I need to probably kill my bandwidth even further. I can pretty much guarantee that. Because
wouldn't be a Night Wolf live stream without technical difficulties, now would it?
Exactly. It would not be the same, would it? Okay. Gotta get Twitter. So I can throw that up there. No, not that. And I'll pop this over there too. Why not? We'll see if we get an audience. We'll see what happens. But aside from that, the day is young, but we are not quite as young. The one thing that I'm pretty sure some people will ask, there might be some questions, but I didn't take any of my notes out. I was running behind, and I kind of was like, oh no, I need to do some stuff. And, I was stupid and didn't get the notes I already had out, or that I've done before. Because some people might ask, like, oh, hey, do you have character designs or anything like that? I'm like, well, yeah, I do, but now I don't know where they are. They could be anywhere in the story.
Let's start with a more obvious question. What is the base premise of your story that you're making?
That's a good. Well, let's see. Since we're doing the world building portion, it might be a good idea if I actually turn to the page I'm supposed to be working on, which is technically the first one, which is genre and settings. And let's see, what does it say here in the book? Because this is supposed to be, you're supposed to get it done in 30 days, but we're going to breeze through portions of it in more than one day. The genre of your book can have a big impact on its setting and how much of your world you actually need to map. Okay. For example, a space opera may require an entire galaxy, which is why I'm avoiding that right now, though I've had ideas for that, but we're not going to do that today.
Yeah, don't make more work for yourself than you have to.
Yeah, with multiple planets with their own world building requirements. Alternatively, you may be mapping a single spaceship, like the Enterprise, something like that would be the equivalent. With epic fantasy, the clues in the name, you are probably going to be creating a vast amount of world. That sentence seems off to me. Let's see. However,
well, I mean, the person in question is said to be an expert on world building. Nobody said anything about syntax.
Fantasy may only require a single city or even a single street. Okay, fair. So your genre can help to determine how much setting you need. Likewise, to determine your genre. If you're unsure, then there are many resources online that give a description of all the different subgenres. Remember that genre requirements can be quite fluid, much like gender. I'm
Presumption.
I just had to say it. And that your story may blend two or more of them together. It is also the case that new subgenres emerge with conventions of their own. Write a brief description of your setting and your genres below. Okay. So, first thing we have to do in this book is we need to do genre-based stuff. So, and do I need my camera on for this? Probably not. Maybe. I don't know. If we have buffering issues, the camera is being turned off for the sake of
you might want to just cut to the quick and disengage now so that it doesn't get too bad.
Right. Good idea. Okay, so genre. So, the story that we're working on is a science fiction western type thing we got going on here. It's been the case for a long time. So I need to work. I'm just trying to finish things up or get stuff started out. Or, well, stuff that I've already started that I have ideas about, but I'm trying to finish the world itself so then I can just put the characters in where I need them to be put in.
And then watch them go, basically. Yeah.
Wait, if genre and setting is two different things, genre would be what? Science fiction, and setting would be Western? Is that how that works?
No, you could genre can be science fiction, Western, and then setting is the actual place within the context of the universe you're
Oh,
talking
okay.
about. So,
Okay.
like, whatever planet or place you're talking about. Also, question, because this is just the way my brain works. Are we talking more of a steampunky sort of vibe, or are we going for more of a post-apocalyptic cyberpunk kind of thing?
That parts of it I thought would be post-apocalyptic. I'm kind of taking I'm taking a bit of idea from the Trail series here, because they talk about a calamity that destroyed the world, and then the technology that was from that time has long since it was lost for centuries, and then it was slowly rediscovered over time, and now civilization has started to rebuild itself. So the idea here is to have a world where the technology and everything that was involved was destroyed a long time ago and has slowly been rediscovered over time, if that makes sense. So it is obviously certain areas are going to be different. Some of them are probably going to be more steampunk or more cobbled together by loose mechanical devices and whatnot, because only major cities or governments have the means to make it more, what would it be? More steampunk-esque, I guess? Or it would be more, how do I normally describe the Trail series this way? Come on, think. What is the age where everything was being built, like trains and whatnot? Why is my brain?
That would be kind of steampunk.
Well, no, I meant what in actual world history. What is it called? What was it called?
Victorian?
No, it's after that. During when trains became the prominent source of transport. There's a word for it, and I'm drawing a freaking blank.
I know, and I'm also drawing an annoying blank. Okay, so we had Victorian, then Reconstructionist era?
Wasn't it known as this? It was considered a revolution, wasn't it?
Okay, so we had the Industrial Revolution.
That's it. That's the word. The Industrial Revolution. Because the Trail series refers to theirs as the Orbital Revolution, where they rediscovered the technology and started integrating it into society again and building things like trains and cars that ran on this old technology. So this world would be very akin to that one, wouldn't it? The original idea, at least. I might be able to throw some curveballs in. We'll see what happens. But I need to actually start writing stuff down.
Yeah.
Sci-fi Western, let's put that down for genre. Let's think. So we're going to be dealing with, going to have a continent. basically. I'm going to write that down.
Okay.
I'm going to refer to it as a continent because that's what it's going to be. And then let's put down some other things. Let's see. We'll put in parts. Ah, that is a terrible S. I'm writing like a monkey here.
I can't judge you. My handwriting is atrocious, no matter how nice I try to make it.
Let's see. Parts are more of a wasteland, so we'll put that down. Since several portions of the story is probably going to take place there. Parts are wasteland. Major. I did not spell that correctly at all, and I know I didn't because it looks like crap. This is for notes anyway. It does not matter. Major cities are more industrial. Okay. So we're dealing probably with at least a sizable continent.
Okay.
Let me
Is this
see.
Earth or is this some other planet?
We're going to consider it a fictional planet. We could consider it Earth, but it's probably not Earth. We could go there. I think at one point it was going to basically be Earth, but Earth suffered some sort of cataclysm and now everything is crap. But I think I'm just going to stick with it being a completely fictional world with its own fictional continent.
Okay, so do you want it to be like a future wherein humanity spread out to the stars and found a new planet and then that planet just kind of went
Yeah,
thing, or
that was kind of part of the idea initially. Was it was basically a colony on one of the many planets, and it just lost it ended up being in one of the areas where it failed. I
okay,
mean,
so we're talking kind of a Firefly sort of situation, then that makes
probably
sense.
an outskirts planet that nobody cares about or goes and checks anymore. Yeah, something to that nature. But I don't want that to be for the characters to be aware of that fact
Right,
because
but you're doing the world building part, so you might want to write that down for the sake of
yeah,
things if it's ever going to become relevant to how you tell the
yeah,
story.
yeah, that's a good idea. Let's see. What do we get? What was and now my brain stopped working. Great, good job, brain. We love you so much for not
Like
sticking
the
around.
DBZ abridged being frozen peas. That's not good at all.
Yeah, let's see.
I love Goku's conversation with his brain in DBZ abridged. It's so hilarious. I also like that like Goku's brain has a very deep like formal British accent. Because it reminds me of, oh wait, yeah, Goku was supposed to be this world conquering badass, but he got hit in the head as a child.
Yep.
Basically would have been like Brightburn if Goku hadn't taken many blows to the head.
Okay, yeah. We'll just write down an old space colony lost to time as a thought process and idea. You never know; it might come up in the
Yeah.
story.
Plus, the more well-rounded your world is to begin with, the easier it will be to tell the story, presumably. So that will be good.
Yes. You want to know the one thing that I'm trying to think of, because initially the whole idea and plot was kind of just a revenge story, but now I've expanded it past that initial idea and concept. So
Hmm.
now I'm wondering if this is to be an official thing where I actually sit down and write a bunch of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to have to split up portions of the story because I'm making a continent that's at least sizable enough to have multiple different countries, factions, groups living in it?
Mm-hmm.
The question is that will I have to move to other characters and other stories at some point if I wanted to keep building on it?
Well, how full do you want this universe to be? Do you want it to just kind of be a one-off, or do you want to kind of create a universe that you can kind of build multiple stories and
I
characters
might want to
set
build
within?
multiple stories. One of the ideas, at least what more recently, is because one of the portions of the story involves the main protagonist and his old friend who are now on opposite sides of well, in this case, the law. He's the main character is now a runaway fugitive due to him being in possession of an ancient experiment that this government obviously wants. And his friend is
Mm-hmm.
on the other side, who doesn't know very much about the corruption of the government, but is one of their dogs.
Ah,
But
the
he believes
the
in,
Valjean Javert sort of
yeah,
um
something like
thing.
that. So the idea and premise was to tell the story, but maybe eventually have them converge and actually team up eventually to realize that, oh hey, we both need to work together to fix this problem. But and some of that may involve having to do side story with him as the main character with his cast instead, you know.
That seems like a good idea, yes.
So that may end up being a side story all on its own. uh I have noticed that there's several what is it light novel writers who write some of the more popular isekais and whatnot have done this, where they have little side projects where they tell stories of the other characters. And sometimes in the same book, where you buy the main book and you get the main story, and then they'll throw in a fun little side story of one of the other characters.
Hmm.
Like Rising of the Shield Hero had short stories involving the spear hero and how much of a douche and an idiot he is,
Aha.
which is kind of funny. Um, but yeah, we could probably do that. I could maybe also think of some ideas for other characters that may become part of the story later and just do short stories. Hello, door. Thank you for opening and closing. Okay.
Random.
I opened the window, so wind
Ah.
is coming and going, and the door is not very isn't exactly attached to its locking mechanism because it's an old door.
Ah.
So if I leave my window open for any length of time, it kind of goes up and it will just open and close slightly. It says that we have someone who's a viewer. Hello, how are you? Feel free to say hi. Don't be shy. We're here to entertain, or as entertaining as me building a world can be.
Let us entertain you. Let us make you smile.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Um, I don't know this. Writing that down right now doesn't seem to be relevant to the genre or any of the ideas. It is interesting. Like, hold on a second. Let me show this. For something that's as simple as just writing down like maybe one sentence, they give a lot of space for one sentence. I guess
Well,
they,
some times you might feel the need to add more detail, so
yeah,
it depends on the person's individual creativity and what
yeah,
they choose to do with it. Like some people might even choose to like draw things.
yeah, yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I should add for this part because it's probably covered in other parts. Like, let's see. Like day 3 of this project book says water sources because apparently that's important. A day 4 would be
Well,
a capital.
if you're gonna have a party like journeying about and doing things, then
Yeah,
yeah, you probably, especially if it is like a wasteland environment.
yeah, and then there's other ones like landscape, natural resources, uh, sapient species. Okay, are there other species? Food. Food is a thing. Hooray!
Well,
Gotta have food.
yeah, everything that you might conceivably think would be in a world, you would need
Yeah,
to. Uh, I think the point of the book is they want to help you be as thorough and well-rounded as possible, so that you have
yeah,
as much of a realized world as possible. If I had to
yeah.
guess.
Natural predators, climate and seasons. Yeah, they cover pretty much everything. Trade routes, travel, everything is in here.
It's like the
Education.
old Carl Sagan quote: "If you wish to make an apple pie from scratch, you must first invent the universe."
Yep. Law and order, government structure, economics, family groups, gender roles, employment, class divides and social mobility, whatever that means, religious and spiritual belief structure, magic, which will probably not be involved here, festivals and celebrations, technology, medicine, weaponry, historic wars, social change and revolution, other historic events. And then they have a few extra pages where you could probably fill in a bunch of other stuff if you want. So there's quite a bit in here.
Yeah.
Let me see. I don't know if I have anything else to add to that. I might add notes to the first one later. So I'm just going to move over to the map section because that's day 2. Draw your map. Okay. Let's see what the note says for drawing a map. Remember, it doesn't need to be a beautiful work of art. Well, I mean, I am an artist and I can be somewhat of a perfectionist, so I might try a little too hard. As long as it's useful to you as you write, as long as it prevents you from getting lost in your world, oh, thank you. That's probably going to happen anyway. It's me.
Well, that's the point of the book. The point of the book is tell us everything you can about your world, therefore you won't get lost within your own goddamn
Yeah.
world, please.
This will become your absolute go to piece of information, so it's important that you keep it beside you as you write. Okay. And update it as you need to. Depending on your world, you may need to add more drawings than this space will allow. You may also prefer to create a digital map. I don't know how to do that. You can always glue a printout below. Okay. Just make sure you keep everything together and by your side as you write. Okay, that makes logical sense.
Yeah.
And here, I'll show you guys the space they get me to work on with. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they give you a fair amount of space. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, you are supposed to be creating a world, so that would require quite a bit of space in which to work.
space to work. So now I have to figure out a way to draw a map. It's been a long time since I've drawn a map of anything. I remember I did that once when I was in grade school, a long, long time ago. Um, Yeah, there was a project where we got to create our own world or country. I think that was what the objective was,
Hmm.
and I made an island full of dinosaurs.
Of course.
I was young, and it was weird.
Yeah.
An island of dinosaurs with people on it.
I I suspect that wouldn't go all that well for the people, but okay.
Oh, probably not normally. Back then, I didn't think of it, but when you think about it in more modern sense, yeah, probably not. Probably wouldn't be a lot of people. Or at the very
Or if there
least, they would
were,
probably be.
they would evolve into these extremely like physically capable things that could beat the shit out of dinosaurs or something.
Either that or they live in a city full of technology that protects them.
There's
That
that.
is, yeah, that's also an option. I think
Or
that was the option I went to eventually when I was still playing around with the idea.
hmm,
I was like, okay, so basically we're going to consider there being some sort of facility that humans are researching the dinosaurs on. There. Problem
hmm,
solved. And they're protected for the most part from dinosaurs unless, someone's a real dumbass and breaks the thing.
yeah. I probably would have gone with a protection spell, but that's just me.
Yeah, I didn't really have fantasy on the brain at that point.
Uh-huh.
I was just like, I'm just gonna do the project was just a thing of, okay, we need you to talk about things like what's your government like, what's the food that the people eat, things like that.
Uh-huh.
And do it in a fictional setting. So I'm like, um, okay. All right, I'm gonna
And yet here we are doing pretty much exactly the same thing over again. Everything all is new again, as they say.
yes. What is old is new. Where are you? I want to use this as a reference for myself because there. We got a whole continent here, or part of one anyway.
Mhm.
Give me an idea of what a land mass I will potentially need. Although I don't think anybody can see what I'm showing, so hold on a second. Let me see. Can I add that? Can I share that? Share screen. Do. No. That does not help me. Um, let me see. Switch to you. What is that? Entire screen? Hello, Shinobi. How we doing? Um, can people see that? I don't know. Oh yeah, people can see it. Okay. Here's where we got. This is what I have to work with. Just give me an idea of what a map looks like,
I
so
can't
people can see it.
see it. I think it might be on my end. I think my screen froze.
Probably.
I will jump out and then jump back in.
Okay, so Shinobi can see it, and you can also see it when I'm moving it around. Uh oh. What the hell happened? What happened? Oh, that was weird. The entire screen disappeared there for a second. I was like, what happened? Okay. Okay. So people can see it. All right. So yeah. This is a picture of the continent of Arabonia. Or not Arabonia. This is Zumeria. Welcome back.
I can see things.
I don't know if you can see the screen or
Yes.
not, but there we go. Can you see the map?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, this is the Zemarian calendar, or not calendar, continent. Continent of Zemaria from the Trail series. It's what I used to make this thumbnail today, or at least partially.
Mm.
So you can kind of get a general idea of what their world looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Although I don't think this is the entire No, it's not the entire continent. It's only part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I can explain why. You see, okay, so I guess this is for the main for Trails of Cold Steel because the Erebonian section of the continent is right here. And
Uh-huh.
then down here, there's a thing that says Laboral Kingdom. That's where the Trails in the Sky games took place. So down here in this area is the lower part of the continent. Where is... Okay, this is confusing me now. Oh, there it is. And then over on the... I don't know if people can see my arrow or not, but on the far right here, where there's this little tiny blurb that says Crossbell City, this is where the Crossbell games take place. And then you have country that that the game hasn't explored yet, called the Republic of Calvard. So, and then there's other places above it.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a bunch of things and places going on. Shinobi, do you want to join in and talk too? You're free to, just to let you know. Let me know, and I'll send a link, just to keep me entertained while I work on this stuff. It's been a while since I've drawn anything, actually. Okay, let's see. And of course, everybody is free to give their thoughts on what kind of continent they would build, or city, or what have you.
I probably wouldn't build a world from scratch, to be honest with you. I generally tend to like more like urban fantasy where it's our world but with extras in it.
Right. I hear you.
Like my current all-time favorite book series is The Dresden Files, which is weird because it took me a long time to read The Dresden Files because there was a TV show from the early 2000s. It was
Right.
terrible. And so every time I would hear the Dresden Files brought up, my eyes would just roll because I remembered fragments of the bad early 2000s show. But then um last year last year in November-ish, I want to say. Like, yeah, November of like 2019. I started reading it because the first four books were free on YouTube in
Ah,
audiobook form,
I made it too
and
large.
yeah, and the rest is history. And now it's 17 books later, and it's probably my favorite. It's certainly my favorite urban fantasy thing ever.
Right. Yeah, there's definitely some yeah, some people have different ideas and whatnot when it comes to worlds to build
Hmm.
and whatnot. I mean, I have some stories that I've been working on that involve just one location, so
Hmm.
you can definitely do it, or do it in an urban city.
Yeah.
Maybe make a fictional urban city of some kind,
Hmm.
Um, what was it? Yeah, I've done some. more superhero oriented type storytelling, and that normally involves a city
Yeah.
of some kind.
Mhm.
Do, 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 do. Hello, Shinobi.
Hello.
It's been a while. How have you been?
All right.
What are you working on?
This is just a character I drew for a D&D campaign on Discord.
Oh,
Hmm.
what fun.
What kind of character?
Samurai.
Samurai.
Why am I not
Yes.
surprised?
Come on, it's in the channel name.
Yeah.
Exactly. Um, let's see. But yeah, this is fun. We got grouped together, so feel free to talk
Yes.
amongst yourselves while I try and draw. It's been a long time since I've drawn a continent or an island.
Yes.
Um, I'll share my work later. I promise.
So Shinobi, are you excited for Castlevania Season 4 coming out in like a week?
What am I excited for?
Are you excited for Castlevania Season 4 coming out
Uh,
in like a week?
I would if I watched the other 3 seasons.
Oh, you haven't watched it either?
Nope. After 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 some of the more recent controversies, I've pretty much given up on Netflix.
Ah,
Ah.
that makes sense.
I'm more excited. I'm more excited about finally getting some Macross content. The possibility of
Yeah.
finally getting Macross content. Now that it seems as Harmony Gold and Big West have gotten their act together
Finally, after so many
after
years.
20 plus years.
Yep. Okay, so there's a baseline, I guess, to start work going on. Um, there. That was just to give people an idea. I guess I don't need to share the screen the entire time while I'm working on this, because that would be weird.
Yeah.
But
So what's this for?
I'm working on a story, so
Oh,
I have to get some stuff started work, and probably nobody can see this because I'm using a very light pencil.
oh, I see.
But I'm using this world building book.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a workbook, and it's got basically the skeletal structure to get started. And I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna use this, and I'm gonna, try and build from here. Once I have, things, maybe with a skeletal structure, then I can actually start working on, you know, actual,
Stories and characters and whatnot.
yeah. Let's see. Let's think here. I'm trying to think. I kind of want to. Okay, so let's put a thing kind of in the middle. And let's see. I'm going to split the map. I'm going to split it up into a few different sections, which will basically be territory lines. At least that's my idea, anyway.
Hmm.
So, someone's hitting things. So, let's see. got going here. All right. So, I I think about 3 world powers should do the trick. Basically,
Hmm.
keep it simple.
Okay.
I'm gonna Fire Emblem Three Houses this shit. What?
Okay.
If that is that reference probably only means anything to me.
No, I got the reference.
Okay. I thought, maybe it's all, I'm the
No,
only one
I got the reference.
who gets the idea. Let's see. Yeah. This could probably be slightly more size than that. My map drawing skills are being put to the test. Okay. So, I should probably... I'm going to label these 3 countries in one form or another. Though I can't remember much. I'm trying to think here. So one will be, I don't have a name for it, but let's go with the idea of an empire. Because why not? Every good story needs an evil empire.
Yep.
Hey, if it works for Star Wars.
Right.
The evil empire is why it's always dangerous to go alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. And let's go with a... I'm going to call it a republic, but I think better to just call it a more... Let's call it a trade republic. Basically because one of them is more trade and negotiation.
Uh-huh.
The people who are in charge of it, for the most part, are people who have sizable businesses, I guess you could say. You know, they've got a lot of resources, and they make a good amount of money, and that gives them enough influence to lead this area.
Mm-hmm.
And another section, probably some type of monarchy, but what do I want to... What is that word? Gosh darn it, I'm drawing a blank.
Describe and I'll fill in if I can.
What's the word for a kingdom that's predominantly led by women? They did it for
Matriarchy.
Rising of the... Yeah, that's the one. I was thinking a matriarchy for this royal family section.
Neat.
Yes, I'm borrowing from Rising of the Shield Hero, but I'll probably do some different things with it, but I like the idea. Hey, they can't call me sexist if I'm saying, hey, an entire country is run by women.
Well, if you make it a dystopia, they might have some things to say about that, but I don't know if that's where you're going with it or not.
Yeah. Kitty.
Yes, my cat requests attention right the hell now because cat.
Yep. Yeah, there's definitely wasteland in certain areas, so... Yeah, mostly, I think it's just thinking of a world where there's a good portion of wasteland, but there's also plenty of areas where people can live comfortably. I should probably. I kind of wish I. Wait, hold on. I know! I think I have a red pencil here. Yes, I do. Okay. Just for the sake of understanding things better, I'm going to map out the wasteland territories.
Mm-hmm.
The areas where it's the most inhospitable to people. And I'll use a red pencil to indicate that.
Mm-hmm.
But first, also, I'm just going to put a red box here to remind myself.
You could have it that the wasteland areas were actually red, like kind of like Mars, if you wanted to.
What?
Oh, just a random idea I had. If you're using a red pencil to denote the wasteland areas, you could have it like the wasteland areas are actually red, kind of like Mars. That would be an interesting
Yeah, we might
feature
do that.
of them.
Yeah, in other words, the sand and the rocks are of a red color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then and
Might be
then and then you could call them like the red wastelands or something to that effect. Sounds
How
interesting.
about
The fields of blood, maybe. Because so many things die there.
I'll shop around the ideas. For now, I'm going to just label it as the Crimson Sands.
Neat.
If people have better names for that, feel free to share. Okay. So, let's see.
Hang on. I need to go and deal with my cat because she's
Go
whining
for it.
about something.
Yep. Understood.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Okay.
Yes. Kitty must have his needs met.
Okay. I don't want the entire place to be a wasteland, so
Yeah.
there's a good portion of wasteland though. Where very little grows and lives. So there's that. Oh, okay. I know what to do. Let's go this area right here. Main trade center. Yeah, main trade center. Smack dab in the middle. And where am I going to locate capitals here? Okay, this place's capital, I think I'm going to put right in this area. Capital there. Just as a general reference point. And this one will be right here. Here's good. Hmm. And then... Now that just doesn't sound like a feasible idea. Although it sounds kind of cool. The idea I'm having right now is with the Empire where to put the capital. I decided to put one capital for the Trade Republic near the edge of the coast, because that'd be a good place to put it.
Right.
Then we got one capital that's kind of more inland. And then a main trade center that's in the middle of the continent that is where everybody coexists. Kind of neutral territory.
Right.
Because I think that's a good idea. But where do we put the Empire's capital? The idea of,
well, what's the terrain like? Usually
most of it
capitals are in places where they can most effectively control their resources. So
yeah, that's what I was thinking too, because it's like most of the Empire is covered by the wasteland. Very little of it is highly inhabited, at least.
So possibly an oasis would be a good idea to build a capital off of.
Yeah, like if there was an oasis in the middle of the wasteland, or somewhere in the wasteland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it could be sustained by like aqueducts and irrigation and all that whatnot.
Yeah. That's a good idea, because I like the idea of this capital being nearer these red wastelands. Since you gave me the idea of making the sands that are red and whatnot, it's like that might be a cool backdrop for the city and whatnot. Something large and imposing, but with a backdrop of red, that would be kind of cool. Just aesthetically, mentally in my head.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, we'll just put it pretty much right somewhere near the wastelands. Near the middle of the wastelands, probably.
And then I guess you could call the if you're calling the wasteland areas the Crimson Sands, then this could be the Empire of the Crimson Sands. That sounds like a really badass name.
At least for a placeholder, it would work. What was that? Let's see. Empire of the Crimson Sand. Okay. That's a good idea. I guess I can kind of show what I've got so far, so. If people can see it, which they probably cannot. Very vaguely.
Vaguely? It's not as lightly drawn in as it was, but it's still kind of light.
Yeah. Well, the pencil here is, let's see, what kind of pencil is this? This is a 2H pencil, so it's not that strong in the lead department. So yeah. But at least the red comes out pretty clearly, though. That's a good thing.
Yep.
Let's see. Yeah, I'll have to come up with some names and whatnot for the other locations. Let's see. I'm also trying to think. Where's this? The story's going to start somewhere, so. Okay, so now that I'm thinking, so for the Empire, there is a fair amount of ruins in the areas of old cities and buildings and whatnot. So let's see. And then make some, maybe a few. Well, the story starts at least, so at least then I have a baseline. Okay. I'm going to have to come up with logos, I think. I think that would be a good way to at least differentiate the three capitals, if I can come
Or
up with a
crests or
logo.
flags or something. Probably, I'd go with flags, but that might be a little
Yeah,
bit
a
more
flag.
difficult.
Well, basically an emblem or a logo that could be put on a flag or a, crest
Mm-hmm.
or what have you. That's what I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
That will have to be picked at some point. But since it also mentions that we can build on this as we go,
Mm-hmm.
let's see. Should we? I guess I could potentially move on to day 3. So at least we got a basic guideline of where we want to put everything.
Yeah, we're getting somewhere.
Yep. That's the main gist and the goal. Let's see. What is day 3? Day 3 is water sources. Towns and cities don't simply spring up randomly. Well, yes, obviously. There are many essential decisions that need to be made before settling on one place or another. Most important thing that is needed in any settlement is access to fresh water, unless you're writing about non-human characters that have no need for water, yes, in which case they will need access to their essential element for life. Okay. But we're dealing with humans here for the most part, probably, so we're going to need water.
Yeah. So this would be probably where you would go into some detail about the irrigation and aqueducts
Yeah. For the
the
Empire in
Empire of the
particular.
Crimson Sands there, for
Yeah.
starters. And then you said
Draw
one of the capitals is by a coast, so that would probably be
near an ocean.
an ocean or a sea or something.
Yeah. Yeah, draw the water sources onto your map: oceans, rivers, streams, lakes, reservoirs, any bodies of water that might exist in your world. Okay. Also think about where these water sources flow from and where they flow to. Look at both natural sources of water and man-made sources. How much has the natural landscape been controlled and changed for their needs? And what about water sources that no longer exist? Or ones that have been forgotten or lost underground? You can make any extra notes about water in the space below. Okay. So back to my map.
Well, they did say that it would be your main thrust of the world building, so they
Right,
didn't lie.
right. Yes. Okay, so most of this continent, at least from what I've drawn so far, is surrounded by water. So it's surrounded by an ocean, mostly. No, it might be a good idea, actually. I'm going to tweak the the Empire's map. Maybe a bit. Maybe make it a bit bigger. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. Water sources. Obviously, the capital is in an oasis, so there's a sizable water source. Not a big one, but it's decently sized. That actually, hold on. Yeah, maybe I made that mistake. That was probably dumb of me. Okay, so they have some. Just to guarantee that the oasis has more water, some of the water comes from the ocean via some
Aqueducts.
Yep, aqueducts. So that'll be a thing. Since there's going to be some settlements either near or around the wasteland, some of them are probably going to have to deal with some rough living. A small water source here that leads from the ocean that creates a small river. It's not much. Let's see, maybe some water sources. Nice river in this direction. I don't want to give them too much water. I want water to be something that they have to work for. They're going to be a hard as nails empire. They're going to have to work for their stuff. Okay. Let's make a fair. We're going to make a sizable river that flows into several of the areas. Couple of areas like that. How about we make a lake? Be nice to have a few lakes maybe here and there. That'd be fun. I believe. Oh, Dalton. What happened?
StreamYard being dumb again.
Oh,
as it is wont to do.
Yeah. It happens. No worries.
yes.
No worries at all. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Streamline has to be dumb.
Yep. StreamYard can be dumb. It can be a real pain in the butt.
Yep.
Okay. Where could be some other water sources? Mention abandoned water sources. Here there used to be maybe a small lake that's dried out. I know, riveting content. I know.
Water,
Normally,
water everywhere, and not a drop to drink.
that's not true. I have some right here. Okay. So let's see. I'm gonna go to the water page, and I'm actually gonna write some stuff down here. So let's see. Empire. Empire's water source. Empire's water sources. The capital. Capital gets its from aqueducts. So aqueducts. From the ocean. Okay. Ah, itchy. Itchy, itchy, itchy. Ocean. And some small rivers. Okay, so there's that. That's the Empire's water sources. So let's go the Republic. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Okay, so what did I have for the Republic? They're surrounded by ocean. They're surrounded by the ocean mostly. So a large river leads from there them to the matriarchy. Okay. So we gotta get the matriarchy's water sources as well. Write their stuff down.
Keep in mind, it's also possible that the trade federation there would probably trade for their water.
Yeah, they
At
could
least
potentially
in
do
part.
that too. Yeah, they might trade for water. We'll see what happens.
I mean, if it is a rare natural resource, it makes sense the people with the most access to it would be very profitable, and therefore trade
Yeah.
relationships would probably be built on it.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's definitely probably going to be some conflict over water rights. That's for sure.
The water must flow.
Water is the most important resource, especially at that day and age.
Yeah, if we're talking about the past, yeah. Okay. So, yeah. I like the idea of the matriarchy group mostly being comprised of their water sources mostly being comprised of lakes. So their water sources, not all their water sources are connected.
Aha. Neat.
Mm-hmm.
And also, that just aesthetically sounds cool. Kind of like, well, maybe I'm taking a bit from my own personal experience from visiting places like Minnesota
Right.
because I have family down there, and it is the land of lakes. So, pretty much.
Which makes me point out that you could, in this context, call this matriarchy the ladies of the lake.
Yep. Or maybe that's a group that lives there, or some form of influential people.
Or some kind of like cult or something, like the mothers of the lakes or something.
Sure.
It's not a bad idea. I will write it down. It's a good idea to keep it as an idea. Use it in some form or context. I'm sure it'll come in handy as a source. Use it for inspiration or something.
Mm-hmm. Something to get the ball rolling here.
I appreciate it. I definitely do. Because, it's why I decided to start doing this. One, so it helps me keep motivated to actually work on the project, and then
Yeah.
bounces some
motivation is
ideas.
good.
It helps bounce some ideas.
It's very scarce these days.
Is it?
Motivation.
Oh, motivation? Yeah. That is true. Motivation is hard to come by, even for me. Especially for me,
It's
actually.
almost like when you shut down all of civilization, people begin to lose faith in the ability of things to function properly,
Yeah.
or something.
Okay. So yeah, we've got water sources. Dun, dun, dun. So what does day 4 hold for us? Let's see. Let's see what we got here.
Captain's log.
Captain's log, stardate 40521. We have traveled back in time. God damn it, Jim, I'm a doctor, not a pool man. Okay, so
God damn it, Jim, I'm a doctor, not a temporal technician.
Let's see. Yep. So
Although I guess that would be something that he would have Scotty doing, so it'd be more like, God
I,
damn it, Jim! I'm just a man. I'm not a miracle worker.
She cannot take any more, Captain.
I don't have the power. Let's see. Day 4 is for the capital. Okay. Bearing in mind that your people require plenty of access to fresh water, place your capital city or cities on your map. I already did that. Is it
Check.
close to the coast? One is. Further inland, well, 2 of them are more inland. Strategically placed for defending your country? Possibly not. I don't know. Think
Well,
carefully
I
about
mean,
its
every
position.
country is pretty decently defendable, considering that everyone is in the middle of freaking inhospitable deserts.
For the most part.
It's not like they're going to be invaded without much warning, because you'd probably see an army marching across the inhospitable desert of death.
Potentially, the Trade Republic doesn't have. They're the least affected, I think,
Well,
by that because they're
maybe
closer to water.
I'm spitballing here, but it also would make sense for the Trade Republic to be kind of semi-nomadic, because
Right.
if they're trading things
Yeah,
around, then it would make kind of sense that they would go about and peddle their wares as you do.
yeah. There's probably definitely some nomadic traders along with them. Some of them, I'm think there was probably going to be a larger conglomerate of the traders in the Republic. They're going to be more or less, like a coalition group of all of the biggest traders
Yeah,
or the people who have the most
it's a hub
influence.
area, yeah.
Yeah,
But
or
I'm
they're
just saying it
yeah,
makes sense logistically for at least some of them to be, or
yeah,
culturally for nomadic wandering to kind of be the standard kind of. Like
yeah,
they default to that area, but they also when they're not in that area fuck off and do trading in various places.
right. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Can probably make them somewhat, or at least parts of them nomadic. Others that do most of their trade from the capital or have business elsewhere.
Right.
They probably all have business elsewhere. I mean, we did put a main trade center smack dab in the middle, so, or at least I did.
Yeah. So
where all of the where all the countries kind of have a neutral territory to work in, where they trade whatever they have.
yeah. So it would make sense at the very least that there would be a bunch of like caravans and things
Yeah,
moving from the capital hub
and
area of the trade republic and then out to the
to
neutral
the
zone.
small, not only to the neutral zone, but spread out to the smaller cities and towns that are not the capitals.
Yeah.
So it would make sense to have basically wandering traders or travelers, traveling traders. You can call them nomads if you want.
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing that popped into my head was like something analogous to like the Silk Road or like gypsies almost, but that was again, that's just the way my head works.
No, it's not a bad idea. I'll write down nomadic traders on the map and I'll see if I can, and I'll try and see if we can fit them in somewhere. Probably can. Because there's several towns that are pretty much on their own and they don't have very much supply, so
Yeah, so
more
you
than
need
likely
people going and doing supply runs and stuff, yeah.
And since we're probably also going to be dealing with things like marauders and bandits and individuals like that, they're probably under attack consistently too. So, especially in the less hospitable territories. Okay, but let's see. Let's see. Yeah, close to the coast, further inland, strategically placed for defending your country. Okay. think carefully about its position. Okay. Remember that you can reverse engineer this. Okay. You can place it and then add in the reasons for its position afterwards. Okay. Always be asking yourself, why? Why is it here and not there? It has to make sense in your world, make sense to your world's history, and make sense to the needs of your people. Okay. Think about its name and where the name came from. Has it been named after something else nearby? Or has something else nearby named after it? Has it always been called that, or does everyone call it by the same name? Choose its position on your map and write some notes about it below. Okay. Let's see. Gotta think of names. Let's see. Hello to Helium. How you doing? I just now saw you. How you doing, friend? Let's see. I mean, technically, the continent doesn't even have a name. Let me think. What would be a fun name? Well, maybe we'll name the continent later. Okay, let's think. You know, reading the Empire of the Crimson Sands and the Matri and the Ladies of the Lakes. That sounds more like kind of like a under. What would it? It's not. It wouldn't be the name. It'd be more like the kind of like a title. Is that more accurate, or would it be more akin to, like the state of Washington is known as the Evergreen State?
Mm-hmm. But
So it's not
also, you're kind of doing like a futuristic society that is devolved into the past, so it does kind of make sense they would have sort of
longer names.
but more wordy, less more symbolic names, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, okay.
My brain would actually work, right?
Right. Let me see. Yeah. Crossspell City, Republic of Calvard. Actually, I think I need to go use the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back.
Sure.
Okay.
Keep everybody entertained while I'm away.
We'll try.
We can try and make no promises, and I regret nothing, but we will try.
Oh boy. World building or us?
I hope I'm not overdoing it with the suggestions. It's just I see potential, and I just sort of can't help but poke it.
Gotcha.
I feel like I kind of might be annoying him because of all the suggestions. it's less poking a bear and more poking equations. That's how it always feels in my head. I feel like I'm one of those savant type characters that like see math in the air when they think,
Right.
and I just sort of poke them.
I have acquired the target. Fire!
Always with magic, Tillium. Always with magic.
Oh yeah.
I would go on a genocidal rampage if any world didn't have it. Every world should have magic. Everyone.
Yes.
I will destroy universes in the multiverse if I have to. The question is, would my knowledge of magic in our universe make it easier to use magic in an isekai world or not? Intuitively, I would say yes, but it kind of depends on how real-world occultism is related to the magic of whatever isekai we're talking about.
Right.
Dun, 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 dun. Hello, I'm back.
Welcome.
Welcome back.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I haven't even read comments very much, so okay. Is Dalton poking the bear? I don't know. Were you guys saying things I should know about while I was going?
I was just
She
I
was
was just
contemplating.
talking about how my approach to like offering ideas is just sort of like take a base idea I'm given and sort of poke it until interesting things happen.
Ah,
And that was
Pretty much.
Gilliam's reaction. And then
so Dalton, if you were thrown into an isekai world, would it be one with or without magic?
to which I responded, always with magic. Every world should
Always
have
with
magic.
magic?
Everyone.
All right, cool.
Death
Cool.
to all worlds without magic.
But if my world doesn't have magic, does that mean you're not going to read it? Ouch!
Well,
It hurts my feelings a bit.
we're still in the early stages. I might convince you otherwise before the end.
Unlikely. This is science fiction, not fantasy.
Why not both?
What?
Why not both?
Why not
It worked.
both? I don't
It
know,
worked for Masters of the Universe.
I guess.
Also, something doesn't necessarily need to be fantasy in order to have magic. It could just be randomly paranormal sometimes.
Yeah, I guess. Guess you got a point there. Well, I'm also trying to remember that also this is a science fiction mixed with a western, so I have to try and keep that on its proverbial head, I guess, keep track of it.
Right.
It's also kind of the reason why it's like, though I love Dalton's, names for some of the initial name ideas, or Empire of the Crimson Sand or Ladies of the Lakes. I like the ideas a lot, but I'm like, but you really, if we were dealing with a society that's at least near the Industrial Revolution, would they be naming their city, their capital buildings, or their states that?
Well,
that-
this is also in the middle of a desolate wasteland continent, so
Why not?
Well, I think the capitals should have appropriate names, obviously.
Mhm.
So, and that's what I'm trying to think now.
And we also don't know how long they've been called that, so it might have been a thing of like we named it this several hundred years ago, and we just kind of stuck with it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, for fuck's sake, America is named after a pickle merchant. For fuck's sake.
Okay, that's new. That's something I didn't know.
Yeah, Amerigo Vespucci was a spice merchant who specialized in pickles and preserved foods.
So
Something I
Cowboys
didn't know about
versus
the guy.
aliens. We could go Cowboys versus Aliens. We could do that potentially. We'll see what happens. I'm not going. I'm not going to go.
Star.
This is true.
My brain is more firing in like Firefly related directions, but I don't know if that's where Nightwolf is going to or not.
I'm kind of taking from several different places. I mean, okay, so some of my favorite stories that have similar aesthetics to this one that I'm working on. We've got anime and manga like Trigun.
Mm-hmm.
We have Wild Arms, the video game series, which the very first Wild Arms had a little bit of everything, which would probably fit Dalton to a T. So it had it was going with Westerns. It had mythological properties like magic and whatnot, and it had science fiction and aliens to top it all off. So they put in a little bit of everything into the pot to make a game. So and they just, while I don't I don't hate that, it's actually part of its charm. That was with the first game. I don't know if the second game goes into all that as much. I never got far enough into the game where it got to the point where like, oh, hey, by the way, there's these space aliens you need to go deal with. So could you go deal with them? I know that I've seen like a Golem that was involved. I think that's some sort of alien technology. I'm not sure.
A golem is old school magic. It's creating a composite being out of. Okay, so explaining the intricacies of a golem because I can't help myself. Yeah. Basically, the idea is, since magic is essentially the manipulation of life energy, and obviously the base unit of life energy is the soul. If you know well enough how the soul works, you can kind of create one from scratch if you take bits and pieces of other beings' life energy and kind of stitch it together, if that makes any sense. And if you stick that stitched together soul in a husk, usually a clay one, you get a golem. That's the very oversimplified short version of how golems work and how all other composite beings work, because it's kind of a diverse subtype of magic in and of itself. That's where you get things like servitors and aggregors and familiars, although to a lesser extent with familiars, because they're said to previously already exist, depending. Sorry. Random inside magic shop talk.
Why is Dalton trying to be God? I don't know.
That's just how his mind works.
Yeah, he's talking about the concept of golems and whatnot.
Yeah, because apparently the universe Nightwolf was talking about for the game, he mentioned had a golem in it, and he wondered if that was alien technology, and then my brain.
Well, I don't remember context or story wise if it was alien or magic based.
Yeah. So
But I think that they were made.
Assuming they were in any way accurate to things, it probably was magic based. Assuming
It could have been, but I think they were made of metal, so it could be mechanical in nature, made from alien tech. I don't, like I said, I don't remember.
Yeah.
It's just that it's mentioned,
yeah.
and aliens are involved. So it's like, hey, they could have made the golems. Who knows?
Well, but it's also if alien societies exist, wouldn't they also discover magic? So maybe it was alien magic.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, you could go with that too. But what other aesthetics are we working from? We're obviously also probably taking some inspiration from the Trail series from Falcom as well, because I mentioned that their aesthetic is pretty much a industrial revolution style aesthetic. A good portion of several of the cities and locations have they've been building towards they've had a revolution already. It's already passed. It's been about, I don't know, maybe 50 to maybe almost 100 years since it started, since they rediscovered that technology. And that technology is slowly allowed them to build things like railway train systems, lighting systems with electricity, cars, bikes, flying ships, etc., etc. The list goes on.
Mm-hmm.
And that technology plays a pivotal role in a good amount of the story. Basically, as I've said multiple times with the Trails games, they are very good at the world building aspect of, what was it? Like, I streamed the first few hours of the first Trails in the Sky, and it literally has a small exposition dump near the very beginning of the game discussing the Orbital Revolution, who's involved, who was the main person involved with it, and and all that kind of stuff. Like, oh hey, here's a brief history lesson for you of what's happened in this world so far. Iron Golem from Minecraft. No. Always feels like Dalton is reading the comments for some reason. Maybe. He might be. Why not? I'm reading the comments.
What's wrong with reading the comments?
Are we not supposed to read the chat?
Yeah, if we didn't read the comments, you would you would feel left out, I would imagine. So yeah.
I would imagine so. Yeah.
I reckon.
But yeah. So we're taking pretty heavily from those inspirations. I mean, for example, Trigun takes place on a planet that's not Earth, where they were a group of colonizers, and they had to and they landed on a colony, which is much later, or they explained this part of the story much later. But there are things on the planet called plants that supply energy and resources to the general public, gives them electricity and whatnot. But a lot of them are damaged, and a lot of the people who know how to fix that technology are now few and far between. Most of them are either dead or the know-how of fixing them is less prominent now. So some of them some cities are now laying dead. So
since we're talking about a Western setting, it might just be because nobody reads the manuals.
That could be too.
if anyone gets the Fairly Odd Parents reference there.
Yeah, manuals. Who don't need no stinking manuals?
Nobody reads the manuals.
No one reads the rules.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got to think of names for the capitals. So we got 3 capitals to work with, and I got to think of names for the capitals themselves. Not so much the territories. I'm gonna consider like the Empires of the Crimson Sands and the Ladies of the Lakes as territories,
Right.
more so than the actual name of the capitals. So, though they are really cool names, because I could imagine narrators using them in story context. So, I like that. I'm gonna actually do something. Okay. Let's see. So we have a capital by a coastline for the Trade Republic. Let's see. Let's think. What would sound very ocean-esque, I guess. So it's near the end of the continent. Basically the equivalent of Florida. So let's see. What would be a name? Name. Should I go to a website which has a name generator?
I mean, you could. The first thing that popped into my head probably doesn't work right for a capital, but you could
Well,
call
what
it.
do you got?
You could call it the Wanderer's Coast.
That'd be a good name for the coastline, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But,
Or just like maybe some of the pathways.
mhm.
I'm going to like build a little street that leads to it. Maybe call it the
Mhm.
Wanderer's Coast.
Yeah, but I don't know for the actual like settlement itself, though, is the thing. For the Empire of the Crimson Sands, what about Crimson Spire?
Crimson Spire. Crimson Spire capital. I was trying to think, like, what's another word for red or sand or crimson?
Okay.
Let's see. Hold on. Let me see. Let's see. Find the word crimson in other languages. Maybe we can come up with something that is interesting. Okay, so it's given me a few saying crimson in European languages, saying crimson in Asian languages, saying crimson in Middle Eastern languages, African languages, Ostosian languages, and other foreign languages. You know what? Since it's kind of in a desert, let's go Middle Eastern.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, kind of.
Let's see. Crimson. I can't even pronounce that. Asa. Zulu. Can't pronounce that either. Okay. Okay, okay, that did not really yield what I was hoping for. Okay, and that's just literally, it doesn't help.
What about Ruby Spire?
Ruby Spire? Yeah, I don't know why, but for some reason I actually want to just come up with a one-word name, but Like the
Okay.
Capitol building itself could be called the Crimson Spire, right? That'd be a good
Right.
name for like the building itself.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because I do like the idea of it being a towering and imposing building that's colored red.
Right, but I was just kind of imagining like the capital itself is just one giant fortress because I mean we're
Yeah,
talking about a militaristic empire here,
yeah,
so that's why I was thinking in like castle terms. But
yeah. That might work. Hmm. I'm just. Yeah. Hmm. If only I was more clever.
well, three heads are better than one, I guess.
Yes.
Okay, Shinobi, go. Come up with a name right now. You got 5 seconds. I'm kidding. Take your time.
Go to Authenticator and come back.
I've
What?
I've already given like
Oh, you?
several
Oh.
choices.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
If you have an idea, if you don't, you can skip.
I don't. I don't. So skip.
I see how it is. This is the last time I invite you. No. Okay. Let's you know what? I'm gonna go to let's see. Name. Let's go to like a name generator for fantasy. So see what we can come up with. Maybe this will give me some
Hold on a minute.
ideas.
What about ochre? Ochre was an ancient pigment used to create the color red, and it sounds sort of sci-fi-ish.
The city of Okra
I like that.
might work. How do I spell that? Do I spell it like the vegetable okra?
It's spelled weird. It's something they used in ancient Egypt, and I can't remember how they spelled it.
No. Well, we could probably use that as a placeholder for now, and maybe, you know,
Yeah.
go to a random generator. Enchantment names. No, that's not what I want. Name generators. World of Warcraft name generator. NPC. No. Diablo name generator. Guild War. What is all this? Mass Effect name generator.
Mass Effect, really?
Yeah. Warhammer 40k name generator. Well, that might work. EVE Online name generator. Final Fantasy 15 name. Lord of the Rings. What is all this? Stargate name generator. Okay.
Actually, that one probably wouldn't be a
What?
bad choice if you were gonna use a name generator.
What? Stargate?
Yeah, because I mean, the premise of your story here is lost ancient decrepit technology, and that is trying to and traveling to another planet, so that is sort of Stargate adjacent, at least.
Well, that name generator is unavailable for some reason. Gee, thanks.
Of course it is. Womp.
Drag. Marvel, DC, Doctor Who, Harry Potter, The Dark Crystals, Narnia. Okay. Avatar name generator. Fairy tale. Pet and companion name generator. No. This is so hard to just have a normal name generator.
Yes.
Yes, apparently.
Let me see. Does this human, dragon, elf? That's for people. I don't need people names. It's not what I'm looking for. Let's see. That's this is for species and people too. Okay. Okay, for now, I'm going to at least guess how to spell okra, and we'll call it the capital of okra or something. Well, I may change that later if I come up with something better. But for now,
Citadel of Okra, maybe.
Fortress of Okra?
That could also work.
Fort Okra? Well, if we're going militaristic, you know.
Yeah. Why not? Also, Jonah, I just noticed in the comments you swapped the O and the A in my name.
Oops.
Okay, so we have the capital for the empire now. Least placeholder. I will probably put some type of marker here saying subject to change. See what happens. Okay. Okay. Ladies of the Lakes, what should we name your capital?
Something underwater sounding. I can't think.
Oh, well, I don't want to be too on the nose and call it Atlantis.
Yeah, no, that would
Yeah, that would be
be
bad.
a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Let's see. For inspiration, I'm going to go look at my map of Erebonia. Let's see. They just do a very good job of naming things. If only I could get a... Oh, wait, I can zoom in. What am I thinking? Okay. Yeah. Where are you? Is that where you are? No, that's the Highlands. Mountain range of Istigal. Yeah, you see, like I'd love to see an interview where they explain how they came up with the names of all these, you know, continents and whatnot.
Names are hard.
Names can be very hard, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like we've got like, let's see, main cities of the Erebonian Empire, or most notable locations. Thor's Military Academy.
Okay, Nightwolf.
Yeah.
Just had a thought.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you're willing to, if you want to play with the Lady of the Lake reference without it being quite so on the nose, you could call the capital Nimue.
Nimue. And what does that mean?
That was just the name. That was just the name of the Lady of the Lake in Arthurian legend.
Oh. That's not a bad idea. That might be something to look into, because now that I'm thinking about it, when you look at hold on a second. Let me share screen again. Entire screen. Allow. Okay. So when we go into the Erebonian Empire, several of their names are named after because look at this, Heimdall right here. That's a bit. So some of their territories and their names, I think, are taken from Nordic mythology. I don't think that's the case.
Heimdall is Norse.
Yeah. obviously they took a lot of inspiration from Nordic legend because we got places like Legram. It sounds very Nordic. Bereahard. Celtic. Yeah. Most of the areas and cities sound very much like they're Nordic in nature. I mean, one is even called the Nord Highlands. It's right here.
Yeah. So yeah.
It's literally named after Nord.
So if you want to kind of play up the connection, but not in quite as not in quite an obvious way as Atlantis, you could call it Nimue.
Well, that's not a bad idea. Now you're giving me the idea. Since this particular country is a matriarchy, so it's a kingdom, we could play off the soldiers and the people being more like noble knights than they are. Even though this is, more of a Western setting, that doesn't mean that the people can't have like a ruling class of noblemen and whatnot.
old school nobles. I mean
Yeah.
the people forget, but the Old West and the Victorian era in England basically happened at the same time. So
Right.
Yeah. Yep. So we could play with that. We could probably name several of the areas and places in at least that particular section of the continent after Arthurian legend. Either naming them after certain swords, weapons, places, people.
yeah, and there's enough obscure Arthurian stuff that you can do it without it necessarily feeling overly referential or too on the nose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless you can come up with a name that's a little bit that's, I don't think.
Well, you could
of
course change the way Nimue is pronounced, because it's pronounced Nimue, but it's spelled kind of Nimu, so you could just change the way it's pronounced.
Right. Yeah, like the area of Crossbell. I'm fairly positive that this is just a name. It's just like, well, we like the idea of a bell, and it is a cross between two major powers. Let's just call it Crossbell.
Yeah.
Right.
That's probably, they went a bit on the nose, but it's like, hey, that sounds like a pretty good name for a city. Let's call it Crossbell City.
Yeah, that's it's often how these kind of things are arranged. So there's that.
Yeah, because you can see there's not, the territory for them is small. It's like a little tiny area. And then you have a place like the Republic of Calvert, which is its own area and territory.
Mm-hmm.
I am curious to know more about what the Republic of Calvert is like. Because the way that the game describes both sides, or in particular the Erebonian Empire and the Republic of Calvert, they're in war. They're in conflict right now, kind of fighting over territory and land, and they are highly militaristic toward one another. And Crossbell's kind of stuck in between them, and they're trying to be an autonomous zone that's not controlled by either of them. But obviously, also Calvert also extends over here to Nord as well, because this is there's a boundary here for Calvert as well. So they own a large chunk of territory, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there's also places here that I haven't been to yet. There are certain areas of this map that I've not seen yet in the game. First two games are kind of limited to like the eastern part of Erebonia. Mainly just comprises several locations here. Like in particular, like I've never been here, the Providence of the Sutherlands, where they're controlled by the High Arms. I've never been there before. Never seen it. I know the main character goes to school with their son of the family, but that's it. It's the only reference. Cayenne Dukedom, or the Province of Lamar. I've never been there. I know who Duke Cayenne is. He's dead. No. I don't think he's dead, actually. I think he was arrested. What am I saying?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know why I was saying he was dead. He's not dead. I was there. I would know better.
I was.
He let her. Yeah. Well, because the first game sets up a. I really loved how the game set up the first. Basically, helped build Erebonia and explain what's going on. Whereas, like, you've got, you know, two different types of power. Where is the capital? Capital, where are you? That's not it. Shores are Barony. Nope. Where are you? I know you're here somewhere. You have to be here somewhere. Not. Oh, wait, no, it is Heimdall. What am I saying? The Heimdall is the capital. I'm being dumb. Heimdall is the capital. I was thinking Bereahard for some reason. I was like, wait, no, Bereahard is just where one of the main noble families lives or rules. So basically the Marquise, or not the Marquise, but the Heimdall is ruled by a royal family, but they are currently how do I put this? They brought in people from the more lower class societies to help. That they have governors now that help the people. So it isn't just the royal family and the nobles.
So it's a parliamentary monarchy.
Yeah, they have a chancellor and a governor that have basically lifted up the lower class citizens to be more accepted and allowed and not treated quite the same as they've been treated in the past.
Right.
And but due to the fact that for hundreds of years the Erebonian Empire has been led by the noble class, the nobles are not too thrilled with this prospect. They hate it.
You don't say.
Yeah, so the first game was basically just kind of just setting this whole conflict up where you can see the tension as you're traveling around and as students and learning about the continent, and you're realizing, oh crap, there's some issues here. And it's not pretty. It's looking pretty rough for a lot of people. You know, like because there's now two militaries. There's the provincial army, which are the noblemen's military force, and then the main military force of the empire. I forgot what they're called. I forgot their names. But now so there's conflict between them. There's conflict between the noble class and the chancellor and the governors.
Mm-hmm.
And it eventually boils over into a full-blown civil war by the second game. Or actually by the end of the first and the start of the second. Several members of the nobleman class try and take over the country. And nearly succeed too, actually. Especially considering that they kidnapped the imperial family.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yep.
And took refuge in the main areas. Of course, they did also have a technological advantage. They brought giant robots.
Well, yeah, that'll certainly change up the game a little bit there.
Yep. They brought giant robots to this fight when everybody else, all they have are tanks and airships. So yeah, that gives them an advantage.
You brought airships to a giant robot fight.
Yep, pretty much.
Gotta have giant robots.
I love it that they introduced the giant robots.
Everything is better with giant robots.
Agreed.
Yes.
I wasn't even... that's the funny thing. I wasn't expecting it either. I was playing through the first game. There's no mention of giant robots. There
When
are some.
suddenly a wild giant robot appears.
Well, it's actually a little bit more interesting than that. We start seeing robots showing up. Some mechanical devices made by a probably less than reputable company or organization. But aside from that, they're not piloted by people. They're just automatons. They're just robots that are programmed to attack.
Right, which is something that you would see around that time, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they went from that to
full-blown
giant
robots.
motherfucking robot.
Full-blown robots piloted by people. Robots known as soldats. Yeah. And then, of course, they probably... I don't know where the people got their ideas for it, but maybe it might have something to do with the what were they called? The Divine Knights. Erebonian legend talks about divine knights, knights that were used to help fight the war from hundreds of years ago. The thing that helped build Erebonia as an empire. Because, what was it? I think they said about 1,000 years, maybe, or a couple hundred years ago. There was a fight for the throne of the Erebonia, and it was a conflict between brothers. And one brother ended up rallying his forces, actually, surprisingly enough, way out here in Nord, and marched on the capital. Turns out, he had a divine knight with him that he used to take the capital back from his other brother, who also had a divine knight, which was a harbinger of evil, apparently. Or what was it? I don't remember. He had many titles. I think they said the Knight of 1,000 Weapons or something of that nature. I fought it. It was interesting. But yeah, the divine knights are important. And you get to pilot one, so that's pretty cool. The main character, Reen, has his own divine knight. It's pretty interesting. Let's see. Let me see if I can really see. Divine Knights. I want to see pictures of them. There we go. And now I've just sidetracked myself. I should be working on it, but now I've decided I don't want to do that right now. I want to share stuff and talk just randomly for no reason.
It happens.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. So, yeah. Can everybody see what I'm seeing? Because I don't know.
My screen appears to have frozen again. I will be right back.
Okay.
If you're talking about the Gundam suits on your screen, then yes.
Okay, good. So I'm not crazy. Good. So yeah, this is one of the Divine Knights right here. This is Valimar. This one is Valimar. This is the one that the main protagonist Reen pilots right here. Pretty cool. I like the designs of them. They're really awesome.
Yeah.
And then here's Ordain. Cool design there. And I'm waiting for Dalton to come back. El Pardo. I don't know who El Pardo is. I haven't seen it yet. But yeah, because you don't know that they're there. You don't know that our good friend Valimar here is a thing until nearing the very end of the first game. I didn't know he was there until he showed up, and it was a surprise. I probably shouldn't have been all that surprised because they do show a picture of him a bit during one of the intro sequences, but yeah, I didn't know he was a thing. Mainly just because I had to go through a lot of crap just to acquire him. But yeah, those are the Divine Knights. At least a couple of them. Yeah, that picture is terrible. Nobody can see that. But that is pretty cool. That we get giant robots. Anyway. There. Anyway, let's see. I need to... At the very least, I need to come up with a name for at least the last capital that we got here. Let's see.
Right.
Now I'm just trying to think. I need water now. Let's see. Should we call it El Dorado? No. The City of Gold. No. No. Any ideas? If only Dalton was here. Let me think. Jonah, if you're still here, come up with a name. Trying to think.
We tried.
Yeah. This is gonna drive me insane because I would at least like to get this done, and then I can move on. Oh, there's Dalton. Welcome back.
Yeah, StreamYard's is a massive dick.
Yeah.
Indeed.
I forgot that you didn't really get to see the Divine Knights, did you? So
No, that was when I left because my screen was frozen.
can you see them now?
Yes, I
Yeah.
can see, and they look awesome.
Yeah, this is one of the Divine Knights. This is the one that the main character gets, named Valimar.
Cool.
Valimar is fun and such a wonderful human being. I'm joking. He's not a human being.
I was going to say I'm not sure
He
how
has
that
a
works.
personality at least. Slowly. He's slowly becoming more human-like in his conversational skills. He can talk.
Neat.
They can
Neat.
talk, so... Or at least I think they all can talk, although I've never heard any of the others talk. Just Valimar.
Hmm.
Like this one right here, Ordain. You fight him quite a few times, but I've never seen him talk. So maybe it's
Maybe he's just more focused on the killing and less on the chatting.
yeah. Well, considering he's an antagonist, so probably why. Or well, his pilot is the antagonist,
Mm-hmm.
or one of the antagonists. I'm not gonna say villain because that's inappropriate.
Hmm.
It's not accurate. That's the good thing about these games. They don't have a clear like this is the bad guy, and well they have those, but there's a good amount of them that like, oh, this person isn't really that much of a bad guy. He's more of a antagonist than a villain. He's just kind of an asshole. There have been several instances where they tried to humanize the people who I did not like because they were douchebags and horrible people. But the game desperately keeps on trying to make me feel sympathetic towards them. I'm like, God damn it, now you're making me have feelings for them, you asshole.
Oh shit. Apparently Anglantine wants to do a stream, so I think I'm going to dip out and head over there.
Okay.
He's talking about the
The Superman thing, yeah.
the scorched earth that was once a vibrant IP. I'll
Yep.
talk to you guys later.
Okay, yeah.
Bye.
That series has been a dumpster fire since they had Superman reveal his identity to public.
Yeah. Well, no, I think they're referring to the live action movies that are coming out.
Oh, the ones where they want to make Superman a black guy, even though we kind of had those.
Yep, that would be the one. Still gonna.
Long as they don't make Clark Clark Kent a black guy, I don't care.
It is Clark Kent, though, or at least that's the rumor.
Until I get something official, I will remain skeptical.
Yeah, I'm of the same mindset. I'm not going to jump the boat just yet. Jump the shark.
Yes, even the people who have come in support of this whole thing have said that have brought up Val Zod and a few others.
Yep.
When it comes to Superman.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. They were talking about the article mentioned several other characters that are either in production or we've already seen, like the new Batwoman that nobody likes because no one really cares about the CW's Batwoman show, like at all. I know I don't care. I watched the first episode and lost interest. And yeah, no one cares about that. I'm pretty sure that Black Lightning has a better fan following than that one. They talked about that we're going to be getting a Latino hero. We're going to get Blue Beetle, but it's like, most people only recognize the Jaime Ray as Blue Beetle, as the Blue
Yes.
Beetle. Most people, anyway. Obviously, someone as old as me knows about Ted Cord and stuff of that nature. But
But Jaime's been around for a while, so that's what we're gonna go with.
yep, and he's the most popular, so it makes sense. He is more popular, so I'm okay with them going with, oh, hey, by the way, we're gonna go with that this is what we're going for. And then they talked about an HBO Max series where they're gonna do the Green Lantern, only it's going to be a gay Green Lantern. I'm assuming they're meaning Alan Scott. So
They better not. They better not try. They better not meet. They wouldn't dare do that with Jon Stewart or Hal Jordan.
If they did, they know they'd never live it down. So it's probably Alan Scott, because that was one of the more recent retcons that they did for one of his stories in more recent years.
Yeah.
I don't remember when that started, but I do remember it happening. Anyway.
Yeah, one of my contacts was talking about that.
Anyway, I think my creativity has plummeted. I think I need a break. Because I can't think of any names. Dalton was really actually doing really well with some of those names. And
Yeah, he was.
At least for an idea, and it's pretty good. So I'm like, I'm going to at least hold on to them for now, unless I come up with something better on my own.
Yes.
But I still have a third capital, and it still needs a name, and I'm drawing a bit of a blank. I guess I'll have to... Hold on. Let's see, Japanese word for C. Let's see. No, that's... Yep, I got nothing. I was thinking, oh, hey, we could name it after whatever the Japanese word for sea or ocean is, but then I'm like, wait, no. We've got the Ladies of the Lake and whatnot, so maybe not. I don't want two continents themed after the ocean or water.
That wouldn't be good.
It's too similar, so I'm going to refrain. I'm going to think about it. Maybe look through history and legend and see if there were names of places or people. I was thinking maybe going for Eastern countries, maybe Japan, China, something like that. Maybe we can name it after a dragon. I don't know. I'll think about it.
Shenron?
Not that. That's too on the nose. Come on, man. I was thinking more, legendary dragon, maybe, from myth or legend, not one from Dragon Ball Z where I could get copyright claimed.
Good point. What was that dragon's name that Sean Connery played in that one film?
What is that? Dragonheart? Dragonheart. Dragonheart, dragon. Dragonheart, dragon's name. Draco. Wow, how original. Yeah, I don't think we're going to name it Draco, okay? Because I think Draco is just another word for dragon. For Japanese word for dragon, maybe. Ryu. Represents balance, freedom, and good luck. It's also known to have supernatural powers and wisdom. Many people choose a dragon to represent balance in their life. So that's what a dragon symbolizes in Japan. That's interesting. It represents balance, freedom, and good luck. Okay, I think I have an idea of what to look for. Actually, Japanese dragon names. Japanese dragons in Wikipedia. Otono Orochi. Dragon slain by the god of the wind and the sea, Susano. Dragon god. There's some interesting names here. Let's see, we got Ryujin. Dragon god was a ruler of seas and oceans, described as a dragon capable of changing into human form. He lived in the undersea. Then he had there's a luminous pearl princess, Toyotama Hime. I think I have my name.
Excellent.
I think.
You think?
It's an idea, anyway.
Yeah, it'll work.
Let's name this capital. Name it Hime. And to give this republic a world name, or kind of territory name, no, that doesn't work. Yeah. I'll just call that capital Hime for now.
There you go.
At least it's a decent placeholder for now. Yeah, I think that's good for now. We'll probably do another one of these later because this is actually a lot of fun to do. And I'm enjoying it. So I think that's it though for today. I think I'm a bit spent now since we covered multiple things all at once. But
Yes.
but thank you to everybody who joined and for the people who hopped on and kept me company. I appreciate it. And we will see you guys next time. We'll do some more of this probably next Wednesday or something, or whenever I can get on again. So I'll talk to you all later. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.
Ciao.